All right, it's Friday, another edition of Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson. Thank you so much for joining us. How's it going today, Alan?
Doing great. I had a great week with Easy Way Systems. I actually did my first overnight sales trip this week. It's been a lot of months where I've done that for Easy Way. It was great to be back out on the road. A little different. You know, we got to be safe, got to do protocols. Hotels are different.
Right.
But you know what the best part, Marshall, was? We've talked about it on here. It was so good just getting out to see some people.
Getting out of your house.
Yeah. Well, and seeing some people in the industry I haven't seen before.
Right. Oh, well, seeing their eyes. You didn't actually see their whole face, did you?
Inside we did. You know, I was in one company. Right. And they actually said, well, let's go in the conference room. And one guy has some underlying conditions, higher risk. And he actually have in their conference room where they had the sales training and stuff.
Yeah.
Plexiglass things up like at the bank and stuff where you could sit behind. And that way they said for customers looking at garments and stuff, they need to come in, they can sit there and be safe and pass them through.
Oh, that's a great idea. So
I thought it was awesome.
The length of the table?
Well, it's not the whole length. So his production manager is a little less on there, but the one guy to be safe. And it was great. It was very good.
I like that.
Yeah.
And does it have like room at the bottom you can slide things underneath?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you take pictures?
I failed.
Okay.
I know the guy, and you know the guy, but I will call. I bet he'll send me pictures. Send us pictures.
Yeah, that would be really cool to post. So I like that idea a lot.
It was great. So yeah.
We got some people watching. So Gustav's from Sweden. Hello, how's it going?
From Sweden, first one on. You gotta love it.
And Mike's here.
How you doing, Mike?
You back, and hope your health is great.
Yeah.
Keith's here.
Always.
Sam's here. In Grand Ledge, Michigan today. Where's that, Alan?
Sam lives in Lansing. Sam is a rep for T&J Supply, buddy of mine, and a supplier. So up by Lansing, Grand Ledge is right by there.
Yeah, and Gretchen is tuning in from Grand Rapids. Now, is Grand Rapids next to Grand Ledge because they're both grand?
No, Grand Rapids is still about 45 minutes to the west of Grand Ledge, straight down the freeway. It's right on Lake Michigan. By there, so we have the Michigan connection going. I'm here
how many Grands are there in Michigan, Alan?
Too many. Grand Ledge, Grand Haven. You know,
everybody's just really good. They're all grand. You know.
Well, and the Grand River runs through there too, through Grand Rapids. So
right. And we have some other folks. Brian's listening while embroidering. Thanks, Brian.
That's a lot of listening. There's a lot of needle noise.
Hey, don't cut a hole in that garment when you trim, okay?
Absolutely.
And Mike says the bionic heart is ticking.
So now all of Mike is bionic, not just part of him. So he is the bionic man.
Hey, when you move, Mike, do you make the
No.
You know remember the bionic man when it would run?
We all just dated ourselves right now. If we remember.
I'm really old.
Very old.
Yeah, and Eric says, good morning from Orlando.
All right, Eric.
That's awesome. So don't forget, hold on.
Look at that.
1,200 short order with fulfillment and mailing to homes. I'm so happy. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And our buddy Peter says, good morning from M&R from Roselle, Illinois.
Way to go, Peter. How you doing? On my little road trip, talked to a couple people even today about some automatic reclaim and the M&Rs. So we like those. So
hello, everyone. And I wanted just to make sure everybody, don't forget, this is a Q&A show. The A only works with the Q.
That's right.
You need to write your questions, right? And that's really important. So, all right. So, all right. And Peter says, I got a meeting at 11:30, but it's going to catch the first half.
Good. Look at Michael's response. That's what I laughed at.
I'm just trying to find the bionic women.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. And Ray's here. What's up, Ray?
Ray from, not Poly One, from Avion?
But how do you pronounce it? Right? Give us
Phonetic.
what do you call it? The phonetic spelling, so we can all pronounce the new name. I don't even remember the name. Is it what is it?
Avian?
Avian.
I believe it's
Bird
avian.
flu? How do you pronounce it?
Avient.
Avient. Okay.
Avient, I think, is Yiddish, and it means what? Help, there's a hog in my kitchen? I am teasing. I have no idea.
Hey, we need to know what's going to be with y'all's marketing, because nobody can remember your name.
Yeah.
Avient. All right.
Ooh, avian.
Avient.
The accent on the V.
Right. Wasn't that a Howard Stern thing? Right.
I don't remember.
NBC.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we've got some topics lined up. So be sure to get your questions in, and we'll see if your questions match our topics for today. So the first topic is all about training, because this has come up for both Alan and I talking with our customers this week about training. And so we wanted to kind of share what's going on with folks. And kind of the challenge I think a lot of people are having is, we're not at full staff. You had 20 people or 50 people, 100 people or 6 people or whatever your employee count was, and now you're at 60% of that. And we have some people filling in, and are they fully trained, and do they know what to do? And that seems to be a big challenge that's going on right now, where not everybody is doing it. And I think business owners, and not you fine folks for listening, but
no, everybody but you,
think that when you walk in the door, you just get the knowledge by osmosis because you pass through, right? And you instantly know how to do everything. Just because you've worked there for 5 years, you mean you don't know how to mix ink or burn a screen or invoice somebody, right? How could you not know that? Well, what are you doing on purpose to train these people with whatever that task is? And so this is our discussion topic for the first segment of the show today. We want to know, what are your training problems and questions and that kind of stuff. So put them in the comments. So Alan, you were talking beforehand with Shop before we got on the call, kind of outline what they were doing and kind of share.
Well, when Marshall and I usually come on about a half hour before, and I was talking to a client who Marshall knows, so it was kind of interesting. It was from my phone to my microphone onto Marshall through StreamYard here. But they were actually doing a lot. I threw this just real quick. What are you doing, if anything? And they are doing a lot. And for them, it's cross-training. And I was amazed at how much what they're doing and done, and in the areas I never even thought of, and what they're planning on doing. The first one that I thought was great, events are kind of not happening anymore. And they had one person who was an event salesperson and coordinator. What they have done is taken her, and she is now cross-training and shadowing their office manager. She is learning every bit of procedure in the office, from billing, from everything like that. I thought that was genius.
Yeah, I love cross-training, and I've written about it a bunch, and I've lectured on it, and I don't know if I coined the term, but I've been using it for a long time, which is the rule of 3, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I mean by that is I like to have at least 3 people in your shop know how to do all the core things that you have to do. Invoicing, quoting, shipping, burning a screen, mixing ink, setting up a job, whatever it is. If you have to do it every day, you need to have at least 3 people that know how to do it. Of course, if it's just you in the shop, that's a different story. But if you've got a bunch of people, and the reason why you need 3 is there's your primary person, like the office manager in this scenario that Alan was just talking about. But you know what? Becky, or whatever her name is going to get sick one day or wants a vacation or whatever. There's a reason why she's not there. And if we can get somebody to fill in for her, right, then we don't really have a problem. Business goes on as usual. But what happens if Becky's on vacation and the fill-in person gets the flu,
Yeah.
do you just not ship today? Right? Do you just
Yep.
not quote somebody today, or just not burning screens today? No, that's why you need 3 people. And so I think it's really good to have that. And we don't have to have it at the same like speed and level, but what we need more than anything is competence.
Yep.
Right? We need to make sure they know the basics and they know where to look. Right? So if they haven't, like, man, how do we, what button do I click? Whatever. You can turn, this is where an operations manual or something comes in handy, where you can just turn to page 16 and it's item 3 on the thing.
Yep.
Yeah, you click the button here and that launches the nuclear missile or whatever, right?
When you have detailed SOPs, standard operating procedures, it makes it way better. And then I think it just makes your team more cohesive, because a lot of times you have what I call kingdom building, where they go, I'm a press operator. I operate the press, and that's all I do. And that's his little kingdom there. And then they start building walls around and doing everything they can to protect their kingdom, which means they resist change. They resist testing, because this is how I do it. And it's my own little kingdom. And when there's a problem, they don't understand the art. They don't understand screen make. They don't understand embroidery and how that all fits within the company. And now then by doing that, you are going to have a complete cohesive team that helps.
Hey, we got a comment from Sam. He says, floaters are important. I think it's great to bring sales or art staff into production area from time to time to see the process. Sam, that bingo.
Right there. Sam gets gold star.
Yeah. So that's great. I love having shadow people. I love floating people. That press or that embroidery machine or whatever should never stop. Those operators shouldn't have to go look for stuff. You shouldn't have to stop and put ink in your screen.
Yep.
Right? That's a job for a floater. That's a job for a manager that's walking around. That's a job for an ink person if you've got enough volume where you've got an ink person that just walks the floor.
Yep.
And we should be doing that all the time. Of course, you can use the wing squeegee. I'm a big fan of that, so you don't have to actually put the ink into the middle. So, it's like one of these things. What are you doing to make it better in your shop? Mm-hmm. And every single time that decoration method stops to get something, to go find something, to go ask a question, what that means is you're not getting production out. And that downtime, it's only for a couple of minutes, right? Who cares? It adds up over time.
Yep.
And that's why we need cross-trained people. We need those floater people. We need to keep pushing to solve these issues.
Well, people are talking about training their salespeople and art people to bring them in production and vice versa. This company we were talking to, that is their plan. They just told us next week they're going to start bringing their sales staff into production.
Right.
And Marshall, you brought up a point of putting them into receiving.
Yes, I love to have customer service and sales in receiving. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's great that they know production. Okay, the reason we want them in receiving is because typically when an order is put in, sales sometimes are kind of lazy, and if you're a salesperson, sorry, but we don't put all the detail in there that we need.
Yeah.
Right? We don't put all the detail in there. So when the receiving team is trying to check in that order and there's no information on that packing slip, how are we matching up these 32 lime green shirts? Where do they go to? We have no idea. So when your sales and customer service works in that area and they have to solve that mystery, then they go, yeah, I guess I should have filled that thing out. That really helps connect those dots. And I love doing that. And I think that's a really good thing for them to do and kind of help kind of understand this critical component.
Absolutely. I know they're also, they've done things with their finishing department. Some of their people in finishing have gone and learned embroidery. Now they're just not throwing them to the wolves. First, they've learned hooping. They are now starting to run stitching. Not all the way on, but they're doing that.
Right. Hey, we got some really great comments. Let's get going. Brian, thank you for stopping your embroidery run to post this comment. Yeah. In the military, everyone learns the job of everyone below and the person above them. That's great. That. I love reading Navy SEAL stuff. right?
Yeah.
Jocko Willenick's my favorite guy there. They always talk about that.
Yep.
Gretchen says, very important for sales to understand the art department too.
Absolutely.
Totally with you, Gretchen. And Gretchen's an artist, so I feel your pain. We're compadres with that, right?
Absolutely.
Yosa says, we started out doing SOP knots after Shirt Lab.
I think that's notes.
Thank you. And by the way, he gets a pass on spelling because he's Swedish.
Yep.
Gretchen says that can increase efficiency in the art department immensely. Yes. Braden says first week our salespeople stay one day in each department before even start on sales training. Helps them get to know the team and see what their days are like.
Perfect.
Love that.
Braden, I also love the mask in your avatar too. That is awesome.
That's great. And Gretchen says the same idea between sales and building Inksoft stores as well. Helps to get them to fill out the forms completely.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Can you make those forms mandatory where, it won't work unless there's something in there that might help with that? Just a thought.
Right.
So one of the things for training that I've done successfully is having a skills audit. And I forgot actually to post the link. I'll put that in the comments later. But I have a skills audit that I share with people. And it's basically just a spreadsheet. I use Google Sheets. And you can modify it. I'll make it so you can modify it. And what this is just a list of skills that everybody in the shop should know. And you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. 0 to 10. 0 being they don't know anything. 10 being they're the best person on the planet at it. And then if you want to find out how much somebody knows or what they know or whatever, if you keep this up, what's really great is that that, oh yeah, I forgot that Billy used to work in embroidery. A lot of times we forget this stuff. And so if you're looking for a pinch hitter for the day because Maria's out and you need somebody to do trimming, you can just look at this. Oh yeah, Billy knows how to do that. And that can really help you, especially if you've got lots of people. So I'll post that in the comments later.
Now, Marshall, on that audit, when you have that list there, when someone says, I have no experience in that at all, that's not a knock on them either, is it?
No, it's not a knock. I just made myself a note. It's not a knock, right? It just means that you have no experience.
Yeah.
At one point in our lives, we didn't know how to drive a car or cook a steak on a grill or whatever, right? And the only way we're going to learn how to do this stuff is to do it, right? And you're going to make mistakes and it's going to be a disaster, right? And you remember the first time you ever cooked a complicated recipe, right? And it really didn't turn out edible.
No.
Right? The only way you're going to get better is just to keep doing it. And a lot of the things that we do in this industry are the same way. Ray says, my favorite training story, Pony Express would have Wednesday night print night with the artists where they would design, then print their own design in the manual to see if it works or not. They became good printers and better separators. That is fantastic.
I believe Pony Express is in Texas, correct, Ray?
Well, they're no longer in business. They became PXP. Bruce Jollers owns that now.
Okay.
Yeah, I do work for them sometimes.
Was it Texas though?
They're in Dallas. They're in Dallas. Actually, I think they're in Midland, but nobody knows where that is, so they just think Dallas.
That would be Texas.
Yeah. Texas, Alan. Texas. Sean says, "Hey,
how you doing, Sean?
Great. Hey, we ready? So, any more questions on training? Put it in the comments. I think we need to skip to topic 2.
I would love to know what everybody, people have been sharing, but anything else they're doing on training. Yeah, that's awesome.
You ready for segment 2?
Bam.
Here we go. And this also is about training, believe it or not. Finding new employees and hiring. This is the number one thing I'm being asked right now is I need a new press operator. I need a new production manager. I need. Okay. Everybody's looking for jobs. Looking for somebody to hire. Where are these people? I don't have an answer for you that you're going to like.
Yeah.
My answer is they're already working for you. You just didn't train them yet. That's what I usually say. And this is all about growing people.
Yep.
And training them into slots and having the bench strength. So when you need a press operator or you need a manager, you've hired right and you've trained them into those slots. So when you need them, they're there. Now, that doesn't always work because maybe you only have one person in that department. But if you've got cross training, maybe they kind of know how to do stuff and you can just redeploy some people around. So, anyway.
Well, I think a good example of that, Marshall, that just came up is he's watching and just posted Sam Bollinger. I know was in production. And he was hired by a distributor, and he has done everything from organized warehouse to set up their ink mixing protocols and stuff for water-based and plastisol, and now is a field rep.
Yeah.
So that is perfect.
And he just posted, by the way. What did he write? For ink mixing, it takes a lot of time to get your eyes adjusted and to understand the tendencies of the pigments and bases you might be using. So when trying to get someone new going, they need to work with someone skilled. Just can't throw formulas at new folks. Exactly. There's a lot of theory in this industry. You have to, you can't start off with calculus. You have to start off with simple addition.
Well, I mean, when it comes to screen printing inks, whether it be water-based or plastisol, you can have the formulas, and anybody can mix away a formula correctly if they do it, if they take their time and know how to do it. But when you change a mesh count, you're on from a different garment to a garment. That's going to change. That can change the color of your design, and you better know, how that works out.
Well, that's different than mixing the ink. So that's overall production / color theory, I think.
And comes down to testing and training.
Right.
Because, and then supplying giving them the right tools. I think in good ink mixing scenarios, they always have a test screen there, and they're saying, here's the color, here's how it looked through this mesh is what we tested through.
Yeah, and then are you keeping a journal or a catalog of this stuff?
I think that
a lot of people, especially with underbases, is where they get mixed up because some colors, when you print it over white, tend to lighten.
Absolutely.
Like blues, for example, right? Will go a shade lighter. So this is why you need to learn can you use a gray or a tan.
Yeah.
Right? And for example, PMS 202, which is kind of a cranberry burgundy color. If you print it over white, it looks pink. So what do you do there? Right?
Yeah.
So, you print it over gray, right? So or you do something else to it, right?
Yep. I know.
John, thanks for watching, John.
There you go, John.
I look for people who are art inclined but also mechanically inclined. I can teach the person to print. When I ask them if they're mechanical, they give me a blank look. I ask, are you the type of person that can listen to a motor and get an idea of what's not working, a dry bearing, etc.? If they say yes, I can teach them. You have to be able to visualize what is going on in your head to diagnose problems. That's a kind of interesting comment. I like that.
Very interesting on it, because I'm trying to picture if I'm like that. I troubleshoot different. I'm wondering if John talked to me, if he may go, all right, Alan, you're an idiot. He might. John's a pretty smart guy. So because
we're all idiots.
I might be the top of them. I always ask, someone goes when you troubleshoot, Alan, you ask 1,000 questions. I go, because one question leads me to go down one road or another road on there. And, I do it by process of elimination.
You're not a mechanic, you're a scientist. It's the hypothesis thing, right?
I'm writing that down on this.
The theory to figure out.
Yeah. I'm going to write that down. First time in my life on this date I've been called a scientist.
You're a scientist.
Thank you.
So Ray here says color equals hue, saturation, and brightness. Then with screen printing and film thickness.
Absolutely.
Yep. I love it. And Gretchen says, consider what tasks can be outsourced. Sometimes it makes more sense to pay a contractor to say, build an e-commerce store than hire a full-time person in-house. Amen, Gretchen.
Absolutely.
And
because outsourcing is just another tool. Does it make more sense? Is it more profitable to do it yourself or send it out?
It's like delegating.
Yep.
Right. And so who has the knowledge and the skill and the time and can do it more efficiently? It's not a knock on you if you don't know how to do something, and I think sometimes it's a prudent investment. So think about if you don't have embroidery and somebody wants to give you an embroidery order, do you say, oh, no, we don't do that? Or did you find a solution and take their money? Right.
Unfortunately, there are companies that still say, no, we don't do that. And it makes me insane when I hear it. I would say yes to everything, but before I said yes, I would have outlets to do that.
Right. So just in your space, what makes sense for you, right? All right. So finding new employees, hiring. So here's what I want to kind of get to with that also is I know a lot of people are searching, right? And you want to post an ad, okay? And my theory on this is always before you post your ad, you need to make sure you have a written job description so you know what you actually are asking for. I like to post the salary or pay range. You're going to pay between $16 and $22 an hour or whatever, right? A lot of people get hung up in the fact they don't like to post the pay, right? But what happens is you get somebody who wants $30 an hour. Now you just wasted their time and your time talking to them. And great, they're going to be a great fit. Hey, we're going to give you $20 an hour. I go, $20? I'm not taking that. Right? And now guess what? Now where are you?
Yeah.
Right? So you wasted us time. So I really think that posting that salary range is really important. And then the other thing I like to put out there is what is it like to work where you work, right? There's people who currently don't have a job and there's people who have a job. And so if you're looking for people who have a stable employment and you want them to come work for you because they're the best, remember, it's like getting a new customer. They have to fire their current employer to come work for you.
Yeah.
What is it like to work for you? Right? Are there beyond just the pay and the benefits? I kind of want to know that. And if you have a couple words to spice up your ad about what it's like, what's going on, that makes me want to. Nobody gets the job from the ad. The ad is just the handshake introduction to get them to call you or email you. Right? That's what you want. So if you don't have any of that stuff, it's just really super dry. People just right by, right?
Yep.
So you want to make it so you get them interested. There's a hook in there somewhere. Get them to want to do something with you and get interested in your company just to feel you out about what is it like to work there. And I think you'll have a better response.
I think, Marshall, too, one of the things is we talked at the very beginning when we started doing this, and this was at the beginning of the pandemic, that this will end. And one of the things I talked about was that, there are cycles. We are going into a valley, but in the valley is opportunity for opportunity for sales, for customers, for resources, and employees. There are going to be good people out there, and there have been. Yeah. And you need to start looking and making a list. Who might be available that I can go after? If you haven't done that, if you have not made your checklist on there, now you're going, maybe I need someone.
You have your checklist, right?
You got your checklist, right? Allison Banholzer, we gotta say that every show. She's amazing. So
right. And a couple more comments here. Let's see if we can get to them. Gretchen says, I have a client that I work with consistently that I prefer to train someone in-house to at least know how to make basic changes. That's good. John says, what is it like to where you work? This is so important. You're asking people to spend half their waking life in this shop. Make it nice, well-lit, clean place to be.
Yep.
Right? Heather says, hello.
Hey, Heather. I was going to bring Heather coffee this morning. She asked for it, but then I remembered, she's 2 states away. So I couldn't.
Well, that would be a hell of a trip.
Well, she goes, I wish somebody would bring me, and she mentioned the coffee. I go, I'm on it. Oh, wait, I can't.
Well, hey, can you Uber Eats? You could have ordered.
Oh, I should have done that. Oh, I'm a poor friend. I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry, Heather.
John says if it's a miserable place to be, you will get miserable workers and less employee buy-in. And here's the thing also,
yeah,
right? In your area, right, everybody works in different areas, right? What are you paying? So if I can go work at McDonald's and make more money, the people in your shop that a starting pay is less than what I make at McDonald's, you're going to get to people who can't even get a job at McDonald's.
Yeah.
What is that going to say about the quality of the work that you're doing? So, Mr. Cheapo, right? Yeah. Get off the wallet and look at things and see if you hire better, if you pay a little more money, you'll get better workers who are more efficient. You'll get more done in a day with less overtime, and all those problems will mysteriously be solved because you have better people working for you. It's really important.
I think most people are always looking, everybody says, no, it's about the money. It's not about the money. You can make more money and be miserable, and you're going to have a horrible life. You're going to want to off yourself or do something, and you're going to leave. I would rather, know that I am appreciated, that I'm told I do a good job when I do, and that I am part of the team and important and value to that team. Yeah. And you do that, that's my jam. And yeah.
Well, it's been said that, people leave companies because of bad managers and bad culture.
Agreed.
But signing on to a company, it's about the culture, but it's also about the pay and the benefits. That's what people
I agree.
Right? So, and that's why it needs to be part of your ad if you're posting in Indeed or online or wherever, because that's what people look at because they know what their bills are, right? They know what they need. And is it a step up to work for you? Is it a step down? Why should I take less money? I'm not doing that, right?
I think
so
too.
Understand what that is.
And Marshall, what do you think when someone comes along that you're going, I would love to have that guy, or that guy, that person, that girl, mostly running my shop or working for me. It's out of my price range. Is that a time to start looking, going, what other skills do they bring, and how much more would that just increase my business and worth time and money? And
intangibles that are worth the money.
Yeah.
And then, I think it all comes down to a business decision, right? Yeah. If we have the information, we can make a proper decision based on the relevant information in front of us. If it's a hidden thing, we don't know. That's why it's really good to ask questions.
Right.
And by the way, Heather says next time.
Next time.
All right. So our third topic today, and by the way, if you got any questions on hiring or any of that, drop them in there, is something dear to my heart, which is shop organization.
Yep.
And I've got a blog article that's coming out tomorrow, which is all about speed, how to put the pedal to the metal, right, in your shop. Okay. And a huge chunk of that is how your shop is organized. And so I kind of want to just address this real quick. One of the things that I was in a shop, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. I can't really remember. Maybe it was longer than that. And this is a true story. The accounting team, right, was switching to digital, right? And they moved all of the filing cabinets. There's like 8 of them. They didn't know where to put them. They just wanted them out of the office. So where did they stick them? They stuck them in production because that's a big open area. And where did they put them? They put them right by a piece of equipment. So the people that had to work there had to walk around the file cabinets all day long, right? When did they do that? When I got there, when I was in the shop, those filing cabinets had been there for like 6 or 7 months. So for 6 or 7 months, everybody in production had to walk around these bank of filing cabinets because they wanted them out of the office.
Yep.
Right? So what I'm talking about here is what I call a rock in the river. Okay. And I've written about this before. So imagine a river. Okay. What happens if we take a huge boulder the size of a house and we drop it right down in the middle of the river? What happens? The river slows down, right?
It slows down. Yeah, it's called the lee. It's called the lee of the rock.
Right. So what happens here in our shops, in our business, even the front office, not just in production, when we introduce these things that cause us to stop or slow down, it's because we're not organized. And this could be a physical thing. It could also be a mental thing, where some bottleneck or friction point.
Yep.
Right. And so there's a whole thing called the theory of constraints. If you want to read a fantastic book, read The Goal, okay, which is all about Alex Rogo. It's a fictional story. And in that is this little phrase here, which is we can only move as fast as the slowest part of our process. So in your shop, what is that? And I guarantee you it has something to do with how you're organized and what you're doing. And the challenge that you have going is the fact that you're not ready. There's something in the way. You didn't do a good job. And it's not a knock on you. It's just these are areas that you can improve in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, Alan, you've been in a lot of shops. You've seen this, right? Give an example that you've seen that's just like.
Yeah, there's a couple things. And, I can go into the print production side. I can go into a lot of it. But where I live in my space is in screen room, reclaiming room. It is still sometimes called the dungeon. And I see so much unorganization in there. It could be everything from a rock in the river. And the biggest one I see is usually people don't think of is their washout booth in space is so small. They never upgrade as they grow. And so you end up trying to reclaim a screen with these little teeny weeny alligator arms and you cannot move. And you are just killing your production out of there. Space is your friend.
T-Rex doesn't do a good job.
That's exactly it. I can't really move. And there's no shelves, there's no hooks for brushes, there's nothing. And everybody's like looking around and there's 7,000 movements on there and you want it to be fluid. And you've got to do that. First of all, I understand, these are, depending on the size of your shop, capital upgrades, but I've seen huge shops with just crappy washout spaces and it's terrible. And that's the biggest one that came to mind of the slowing down rock in the river is what kind of space. I don't care if it's a big washout booth or a flat table, let's just get it and start making some room where they can move. The other thing is, just organization of your products that you use. Do you have a place for brushes? Are you getting cross-contamination off your brushes? Have a place where they are, where they're every time, because as you cross-train, it makes it easier. Instead of just trying to train a guy going, well, stencil removers around here somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, and so in my article, I talk about mise en place, which is the French term that comes from kitchens, right? Where everything has a particular place in a commercial kitchen. And that's how chefs have things organized. So they don't start their day till everything is exactly perfect because they know if something gets off, guess what? They are never catching up.
Yep.
Have you ever been to a restaurant where they're so behind? It's like 45 minutes and where's my food? And I'm leaving and right? So the ones that really do a good job with this, everything is in a particular spot. Yep. And I'm a big fan of this theory, especially for a decorative apparel facility, because if you know that my ink knife is right here, I don't even have to look. Now I've got it, right? Or my rag or my thing or the squeegee or my X-Acto knife or the quote sheet in the office or whatever, right? Everything's exactly where you need it. And that way it's boom, 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 boom. You're just humming. I
think at the press, you've talked about it 1,000 times, Marshall, and written on it, is to have a kit there, a table there that you have everything you would need. Adhesive, tape, ink knives, anything you would need on there.
Yeah.
Any tool for that press, it's right there. You're not going back to maintenance. You're not going across the shop, and everybody has them. Don't buy one Allen wrench if it's used on every press and you got 4 of them, get 10.
Right. And buy several. Like, how many times in your shop has somebody left the catcher table to walk across the shop to get a tape gun to tape up a box?
Oh,
okay? Hey, cheapo, order like 6 from Uline and have them everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to write your name on the tape gun. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Cheryl's, right? And I went to one shop one time where the person was so upset that somebody kept taking her tape gun, she blinged it out with little rhinestones. So across the room, everybody knows that was hers. Right?
Good.
Okay. And that's fantastic and sad at the same time.
Yeah. If you have to bling out a tape gun, there's a problem.
Right. So just order. And what I like to see is it's exactly the same setup every single workstation. So you can get one of those office organizers, right? And it can have the magic markers and the tape and the thing and the scissors and the whatever. And it's always the same. And you just repeat it everywhere. Yep. And that's throughout the whole shop, right? And so you know exactly where everything is, right? And I just think that's just a fantastic idea.
It is.
So we have some comments.
I also think too, in the beginning, we're talking on press and stuff where you have things called kit packing where, every job has their shirts, has everything there, the work orders, and it's set up ahead of time there, that it's still part of organization. The screens, everything are done. Now we're back to the screen room. Are you doing the stuff just as needed when it's needed? Now you're wasting that time. That sucking sound you hear is profit. And in today's market, you can't afford that. Screens need to be reclaimed, prepped, dried, coated, and shot for tomorrow.
Well, let me ask you this. Is your screen room guy looking at the schedule 3, 5, 7 days in advance to, what meshes are we using? On Tuesday, we're doing a metallic job and we need an 80 mesh or whatever, right? Yeah. Are we looking ahead to make sure we have that? Or is it when production needs it? Oh my God, I didn't even coat the screen yet.
Oh, it'll be done in an hour.
So this is organization. This is what I'm talking about, right? This is what Alan is talking about.
Absolutely.
And real quick, what I like to see is the day before, around lunch, we're pulling the schedule for tomorrow's production. We're doing the scavenger hunt today for tomorrow. Every single thing for every single department, embroidery, screen printing, heat press, DTG, doesn't matter. We're finding out what jobs we're running. We're pulling the shirts. We're getting the screens. We're getting the cones of thread. We're getting the samples, the work orders, the art approval, everything we're doing. We're pulling all that today, and we're lining it up in the priority order that we want to run the jobs in next to the equipment. And some shops are paperless, but if you're still using work orders, paper, you can have a printed sheet next to that piece of equipment in the order that those jobs need to run in. And then in the morning, guess what? It's just set up the job, run the job, take the job done, do the next one, right? And where it's just rinse and repeat all day long. And if you can build that, you're at Mach 7 every day with your production. Right?
Absolutely.
The challenge is building that. And if you need help with that, that's what I do. So call me. Right?
I think one of the best shops I've seen on production for screen is, and we've talked about it before, is Greg Hitson at Mind's Eye Graphics. And Greg will tell you, I've heard him say in seminars before, he goes, what's that?
You were just there yesterday.
I was just there yesterday.
Yeah.
The cool thing is, even through this, they're slowing down. They're still looking and refining things.
Good.
Every time. But, they are so meticulous on jobs are shot the night before and everything's done. They come in, they start running.
Yep. And tons of shops will have a rolling rack, right? And this is if you're at master level organized, right? There's a rolling rack for every single press, and on the rack are all the screens. And the screen room inserts the racks, right? and then everything comes to the press ready
to go.
Right, and then Greg also talks about when they get behind or they got a lot to do, ninja level, right?
Yep.
Their ninja level is that the rack not only has all the screens, but squeegees, flood bars, and ink are already in the screens, and all they have to do is set it up and ding, 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 and they're rocking and rolling.
Absolutely.
Right? And that is efficient. Okay.
I've seen
some comments real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So Ray says, goals and objectives make a great guideline for an employee's measurable worth. I love that.
Yep, absolutely.
Daryl says, create a profit first account, make contributions, end goal paid position. Love it.
Good.
Kisa says, sorry, I'm not asking questions, and here's why. I'm busy finishing my business plan, and that makes me so happy, Kisa, because here, Alan, she's one of my coaching clients, and this is due to me today. It's actually on my calendar, and if I don't see it at the end of the day, she's going to get a little nastygram. So I'm happy to see that, Kisa.
I think she needs to finish it and post it up here so we all look at it. No, I'm teasing, Kisa. No.
A great indicator to see your employees' steps on their iPhone and see if they have to walk too much.
Perfect. Everybody has one. And you can do that as a manager. You can have anybody do that, but then, they can follow it and see how many steps and then review it. Again, It's not a knock. It's just what can we do to improve it?
Here's something that I've done before in a bunch of shops, right? It's called a spaghetti diagram. Let's see if I can do it on the camera here.
Oh, this would be interesting.
Let's say, can you see that? Let's say that that's your press.
Yep.
Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch that press operator. He's loading a screen. He's getting in the screens, whatever. Oh, wait, he had to go get some ink. Oh, wait, he had to get a screen. Or had to come back.
He had to go to maintenance.
What you're doing is you're measuring every single footprint. He had to go get something. Oh, he had to go talk to the artist and get approval. Okay. The reason why you're not efficient is because everything should just be around here. And the reason why this is called a spaghetti diagram is when you're done, it looks like a plate of spaghetti, right? Yep. So this is a real simple thing to do, especially if you're doing anything physical. Where are the tools that you have to get? Where do you have to go? I've actually done that at a number of shops. I've done that in receiving. I've done that in shipping. I've done that in production, screen room, just looking at the number of steps that we have to do just by observation, right? And record it. Where are these people going? How can we make their job easier? It's by walking less. So that's a great comment, Ray.
I think this also brings in, too, we were talking earlier about ink mixing. Do you have a dedicated person mixing ink, or is your press operator doing it? Oh, this job needs a special, 202 maroon. I've got to go mix it. Or is that done the night before and sitting there ready to go?
Right. Well, that's part of my plan, right? Yep. So if you know that you need to mix that ink, it should have been done yesterday.
And
what I want to see is by today, bless you, all of the inks, right, are right there on the table next to the press for tomorrow's work. And then also, by the way, you should have your white, your black, your common colors that you always print. Like if you're constantly doing stuff for a client, like every week, those buckets of ink should always be by your press all the time. They never leave.
Absolutely.
Right? And I like to see like a big 5-gallon bucket or black or white. And a really cool thing you can get is I've seen this a bunch, is those rolling holders for plants like on your patio.
Yeah.
I've seen those where you get one of those, they put the bucket of ink on it, and they attach a big long cheap piece of PVC or piping, right? And that way you can just grab it by the handle and you can just roll it around. So you can roll it around your press, and you don't have to bend over, right? And I think that's kind of cool.
I think that's great.
I have a picture of that somewhere. Maybe I'll find it. Heather says a place for everything and everything has place.
Absolutely.
Exactly. All right, so we got 10 minutes left. Last topic. You ready, Alan?
Let's go.
You know what it was?
Will we change it? It was wild card, but no. Oh, no. There's no waiting.
There is no waiting.
There is no waiting in garment decorating. What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? And we're
Don't
talking about, I think here we're really talking more about sales, right?
I think so.
And we keep hearing from people, hey, when the economy opens back up, when we have whatever again, right? People are just sitting on their butt waiting for stuff to happen. I'm being kind of a generalist here, right? I want to talk to you about not waiting for anything, finding new opportunities, opening your eyes and looking. What is happening right now in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
Like in your area, will it be school? Like if you're in school, do you use schools? Will they have schools? Okay, well, what if they don't? Okay, are you just going to shut your business down, or are you going to try and find new business? There is no waiting, right?
Now,
plan for the worst, hope for the best, plan for the worst, right? Let's move into new areas now. We can't wait until August or September.
I agree.
Let's start doing stuff now. What are you working on now? What can we do? What can we pivot to? Let's invent stuff.
Yeah. I see companies I've talked to. And a lot of you have, again, I'm going to use the word that after 2020, we are never to say the word pivot again, but we will have to again. But, they have pivoted. They're going there. And one company just told me, goes, you know what? We've done a lot of the event and schools and stuff, but our corporate is really coming up. And if schools do come back, wow, that's going to be icing.
Yeah.
And they are doing that. And we were even talking today, about masks. I was one that early on, Marshall, you asked me, do you think masks are going to be a thing, or do you think it's going to be a fad? And I said, I think it'll be a thing for a while, but it'll probably not. Well, you know what? That was then. This is now. It's a thing. It's not a special deal. It is a viable now product. And if you're not doing them, I don't care if you're printing them yourself or sending them out or coming up with options on there, you're waiting. Don't wait. Do it.
I know a company, Alan, that is about a $2 million a year company in sales.
Yep.
In 6 weeks, they've sold $20 million worth of masks.
Company I talked to yesterday.
It's a thing.
Yeah. One school system, 9,000 masks. Getting ready for school, they're not sure if it's going to open or not. $9,000 in mask orders.
Right.
9,000 in any order I'd take. Yeah. Someone want to order $9,000 in chemical? Give me a call. Let's go. There is no waiting. You've got to get out there. You've got to start making changes. You've got to start looking for new opportunities, new sales, new processes. And what are you looking for? Maybe it's a capital purchase, and maybe you need to start doing your research and not wait.
Right.
So, yeah. I kind of went on a tangent. I'm sorry.
All right. So we have some comments. Yosef says, but artists have their own timetable, right, Marshall?
Graphic stores. Graphic stores. There you go.
For deadlines. So it's how you manage them. Clarity, expectations. Eric on the show. Changing your mind when faced with new information isn't a weakness, it's a strength. Be aware and make moves.
Awesome.
Exactly. So remember the phrase, a mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open.
Absolutely.
Right. So a lot of people, especially in the political arena, they get stuck with this label as a flip-flopper. Oh, he's a flip-flopper. Well, maybe he just got new information and he changed his mind.
Yeah.
Right? I see that as a sign of intelligence. I have changed my mind on a million different things. Right?
All the time.
It's okay.
Yep.
Convince me about something and I'll change my mind. Right. But in the meantime, we're moving in this direction. Until I see new information or I get new inputs, this is what I'm doing. Right. And I think right now there is no waiting. I want people to just get off their butts and go. Right. And I'm not saying you guys aren't. I'm just want to emphasize that because I've heard and read in a lot of the groups, when this comes back or, when something happens, And I'm just telling you that we can't afford to wait.
Yeah.
So,
I think too that a lot of times we look in our own little community, and you need to dominate your community, but the world is small, man. Your community is multiple states in the country. Go.
yes, the world is flat, man.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people get stuck with the idea that they only can serve their city or their county.
Yep.
Okay. Well, web stores are about more than just you in your area. Right. So what can you do that can serve many people? Can you be a really big fish in a small pond by niching down? Right.
I think too, from sales, I mentioned at the beginning, I just came off my first overnight sales trip, and I had people asking me going, are you a little worried? Well, Marshall and I have talked about this. I don't worry about stuff like that. I do. I don't want to come down with COVID-19. I also don't want to have bacterial pneumonia again like I did 2 years ago. I worry about a lot of things when I travel. But you know what? You got to get out there, start doing things, be safe, find protocols, and go. My biggest fear is I don't want to live in a cardboard box.
Yeah, well, we have to take precautions.
Yep, absolutely.
I wear a mask when I go out. Look, I don't know if you noticed, but my hair is way shorter than it was last week.
Yeah.
What happened? Well, I went and got a haircut. But when I went out, I wore a mask. By the way, somebody came into the place I get my haircut. They said you have to wear a mask. That person absolutely flipped out on them, called them all kind of nasty stuff, and stormed out. Right? And I'm like, gosh, what an idiot.
Yeah.
And when I got home, of course, I washed my hands, hand sanitized before I got in the car, and I changed my clothes. Right? I did what I had to do. Right? And I just think this is the way we are, because we don't know where this thing's going. And I take precautions just like you do, right?
We don't know, and it's not my job to know. My job is I got a job to do. It's to get out there, see customers,
right,
and try to convince them to buy Easy Way products. And if I have to do that by wearing a mask, fine. And in my car, I carry 2 masks and 2 neck gaiters. I have hand sanitizer. I have latex gloves. I find out what the protocols are. Let's go. I don't care. And you know what? We all have our own little personal views. Marshall and I were talking. One of our friends, Jason Rink, he has a picture of himself with some mask. And Jason, it can be a little political, but it was funny. He goes, yeah, I'm not endorsing this. It's just, I just need to buy coffee, get a coffee. And you know what? That is a great line, because our line's in the sands. When it's something we want, something we need, you just do it.
Right.
Just go do it.
So Eric says, if you haven't changed your mind in 2020 about something, you aren't listening.
Absolutely.
So, and then Sean has a great comment here. This is my favorite so far today. Nothing.
Sean's not waiting. Yeah.
Just teasing.
So I wonder if somebody would be so bold to go, what's the one thing you've waited on that you're going, I need to just do this? If you would love to share that, I would love to hear that. There would be no making fun. I think it would just be great.
Well, I'm waiting to travel, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of anxious about it. I want to do it. I just haven't had the opportunity, because I think a lot of people right now bring it. Well, I live in the zombie apocalypse, ground zero here in Arizona, right? I don't know if I'll even be allowed to fly in some places, right?
Sure.
So, I don't know. So that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting to travel. I want to travel, and I think I probably would travel given the opportunity. But we'll see.
I think, as our company too, we can travel. I just didn't rush out there and do it. We have protocols on there. I had very good set agenda of what I was going to do, when I was going to do it, who I was going to do it with. Right. And it has to make sense, because you're just not running out there. No waiting isn't meaning going out there and just running like a wild man out there. Right. And going, we have things at Easy Way of who are we seeing, who we're going to do, because, there's expense to that. Where am I staying? And what it is. And we want to be there for our clients and our customers, but we have to do it smart. We have to do it smart financially. We have to do it smart safety wise too. So,
right. All right. Well, it's time to wrap up a little bit, and I want to remind people some things. We're probably going to have my son Jack on the show next week, and he's going to give a full report on YouTube because he's in charge of my YouTube channel. And I'm actually paying him a bounty, $1 a person for new subscribers. So he wants to buy the latest NBA 2K thing. I don't know what he does with his money, but help that kid out and subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Cool. Got some comments.
Also, Shirt Lab Tribe, if you haven't joined yet, please do so. We'd love to see you there. And I think it's making a big difference for lots of people. We do a lot of fun things in there, and we're actually building out. We have 2 things that we're doing. One's a private Facebook channel, but there's another going to be a learning component to it that we're building, and I actually worked on that for almost 4 hours yesterday. So there's a bunch of stuff coming, but we'd love to see you participate in the tribe, and it's a lot of fun, and I think it's making a big impact with lots of people. So we'd love to see you part of that. Right now, it's $49 a month for the first 100 shops that join, and we're just under 40 shops right now. I think we'll be around 100 by the end of the year. It's my guess. So we'd love to see you in there. I think it's going to be lots of fun.
I watched while driving. I had on my phone up on my dash as I was driving, and I was listening while I was driving to Charlie Tagliafico. You had on Shirt Lab Tribe. It was awesome.
We had a presentation yesterday. He was talking about building a DIY registration system that doesn't fail. And he had a great tip that was just fantastic. And I've been in this business since 1993, and I was an art director for 14 years. And it's how to make a registration mark that really works. And I've never heard that tip before, and I was blown away by it. I'm not sharing the tip. You have to join the tribe to get the tip. But I thought it was just fantastic. And I'm like, man, that's just great.
It was gold. Yeah.
You can always learn,
Yeah.
I'm always learning. We got some comments, and I think it's time to wrap up. So Sean's got a new flash here. I'm trying to figure out the best second flash for my Saber, and looking for one that has a shirt sensor, temp sensor, 3-zone on and off, and hopefully have it mounted on a stand so it's moved easily.
And that's pretty easy, especially on a Saber. Call Workhorse. They have that just model on there. There's a couple of them out there in a quartz flash. Workhorse has those flashbacks which allow you to print and flash. When I sold equipment, and I actually used to sell Workhorse, people get a flashback. Everybody needs a second flash, and one just like that. So great upgrade, Sean.
Yeah, good job.
If I can give any advice on that, let me know.
I like having 2 flashes on a press because it really makes you a lot more versatile with what you're loading on the press. So.
Well, and that's why he talks about the stand on wheels. Yeah, it's perfect. So
yeah, well, you can move.
Yeah, no matter how big or small. So yeah.
Looks like you got an invitation there, Alan.
Well, and just so everybody knows, Heather is married. I know her family, her mom and dad. So that is a very awesome invitation. Thank you very much, Heather. Yeah. I just don't want anybody thinking that there was something more than that. Plus, Heather is a weightlifter, and she would pound me to the ground. So,
kick your butt.
Oh, in a heartbeat. But I love her. She's awesome.
She is awesome. So Charles says, speaking of YouTube, what is the website you mentioned previously that tracks your movement of visitors to your website?
Oh, that's the government. I'm sorry, Charles. My bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not going to tell you. It's VidIQ, VIDIQ. It's the my son Jack, who's my YouTube master, looked it up. It's the #1 software for YouTube, and they actually have a YouTube Academy, their training series. He's been doing those, and all the stuff that I've been doing on my channel, he's been advising me, and we're doing a bunch of stuff, and we're going to share a bunch of stuff next week. And so we'll be looking at that. So it's vidIQ, VIDIQ. There's a free version. Usually I kind of mess around with the free thing for a couple hours, and then if I like it, I just buy it. So I'm in the paid plan now. So and I really like it. It makes posting on YouTube easy. I can add tags. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do. You can add a thumbnail. It's custom. There's a lot of really great tools in that is from the vidIQ people. And I'm really impressed and really like it. Is there different tools out there? I'm sure there is. I'm not using them. I'm using this one. So anyway, so there you go with that. So
Marshall, as we wrap up, I'd like to throw this to everybody. We're going to put Marshall and my email address up there. I would love everybody to know, email us. What do you want us to talk about? What questions do you have? What should we have? Let us know that.
Yeah, if you don't want to post publicly, you're having a problem, because a lot of people feel that way sometimes, and you're a little embarrassed about it. You're a little awkward. You got some anxiety. Shoot us an email, okay? And that way we don't have to Fred said this, and you're all embarrassed about it. We can just talk about something. We won't even mention you, okay? Because we're looking for relevant questions all the time.
Yep.
And so here's Alan's, ahow@easyway.com. And mine is just my name, Marshall@marshallatkinson.com. Pretty easy.
Absolutely.
Happy to help you both. We're both happy to help you.
And let us know on your successes, failures, what we can do to help each other. And yeah.
All right. So that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you guys. Hang tough. And happy to help you if anything. Have a fantastic weekend. Alan, what are you doing this weekend? Are you fishing?
You know what? I haven't decided what I'm going to do this weekend. I think I am. I didn't last weekend. I think I'm just going to run out. My dad has a couple ponds behind his house. I think I'm going to run out there and just do it. I might have to water the grass. It's been a little dry up here. And of course, I just came off a business trip, and being single, I got to do laundry.
Yeah.
So, that happens.
Sunday is laundry day for me.
I do laundry whenever I need to. And when I got home last night, I didn't. So I've got to do that. And then I do things like I do fish all the time. I do cook a lot. Went to a farmer's market last week. I have some bok choy I bought. I'm looking at fixing that. I'm going to pot a pork roast and put that in. Got a new seasoning and just trying stuff like that. So
yeah, well, I can't wait to get in the pool, have some hangout time.
Yeah.
It's I think it's not going to be quite as hot as it was last weekend. Last weekend was 115 here. I think we're only going to be at like 112.
Yep.
Right. So that 3 degrees is going to make all the difference.
It will make all the difference. So,
but I will be floating in my pool with a beer or a margarita or something. And
I've not done well fishing. If I catch something decent, I'll try to take a picture when you throw it up there. Although, what was it, a couple weeks ago, Marshall? I was out on Lake Michigan.
Yeah, you took that monster.
Yeah, I caught on my Facebook page. Maybe we can pull it up one week. It was a 17.5-pound lake trout out of Lake Michigan. It was awesome. It was a fun time. So
yeah. All right. Well, cool. Well, hey, everyone, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Get on it. No waiting.
All right. No waiting.
Bye-bye.
Bye.